climate change? Yeah. Okay, bud. All right, so my first movie review of 2022 is of a movie that came out in 2021. I mean, it was bound to happen. And actually, this is only happening because enough of you requested I do a review on Don't Look Up. And by enough of you, I mean like 3. Okay, Don't Look Up is a new farce comedy. Farce is comedy. It's a new movie from director Adam McKay that stars Leonardo Dicaprio and Jennifer Lawrence amongst a slew of other fairly highbrow celebrities. I mean, you got Jonah Hill, Meryl Streep. I never thought I'd put those two in the same sentence as like top tier Hollywood. But I mean, Jonah's kind of earned his place. Kate Blanchett, Tyler Perry, and some other people. Rose from 2.5 Men is in this movie. Anyway, it's an ensemble cast, and essentially what's happened in the movie is there's an asteroid that is hurtling towards Earth, going to destroy all life as we know it. Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, they're the two scientists that discover it. Yes, I know they're not scientists, like a college professor and a student, but scientist is easier to say. And they just spend the majority of the movie just trying to raise awareness and tell people that there's a comet coming and nobody's really taking it serious. Oh, I get it. Climate change. And sure, it can be taken as an allegory for climate change. And that's what the Wikipedia page says about it. How serious it's being taken on one side and how not serious it's being taken on the other. My hand is over here. Just went out of frame. Listen, I'm not big into politics and I'm in Canada. What? The cat. So I can't really chime in with any sort of educated opinion. I have to look at this as a movie because that's what it is. And this is a movie review, more or less. And they can tell me it's an allegory for climate change all they want. But what I really like about the movie is the fact that it's not, to me, just an allegory for, did I say the weather effect? Kind of like this new style of reviews. Anyway, they can tell me it's an allegory for climate change until the cows come home. It doesn't mean I'm just going to take it at face value. That's what I like about movies like these. It's a movie that kind of forces you to read between the lines. No, that's too aggressive. It doesn't force you to do that. But if you're someone like me, you kind of just go there. So sure, climate change or any other of the hot button topics that are happening in the world or have happened in the world. There's always people on one side or the other, and the end of civilization as we know it is like that ultimate bad outcome. So, okay, we'll stick with the climate change thing, but it's nice to be able to sort of apply it to other stuff that happened or is happening in the world. And to their credit, Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence, they both do great. They were both playing characters they haven't really played before. I mean, Jennifer Lawrence, compared to Leonardo DiCaprio, was more samey to other roles that she's done in the past. But Leonardo DiCaprio's character, this is him stepping out of his comfort zone. He's playing this nervous schlub of a university professor. Yes, I know, not a scientist. He's on all of these like prescription pills to sort of keep him calm and keep him focused. And he's got the paunch belly and the beard, and he doesn't, it's not typical good-looking Leo. Although I'm sure there's plenty of women out there that still like, damn, he did great in this movie, and I had to pause, rewind. I didn't have to pause. I just had to slide the slider back because it's 2022. The one scene where he just loses his mind when he's on like the talk show with Kate Blanchett and Tyler Perry. He just finally snaps. His character arc in this movie, I mean, can you really call them character arcs? Because this is a story it's hyperbole, it's metaphor, it's allegory. Take a shot every time I say allegory. I mean, I feel like he's supposed to be the character that we can project ourselves into, or alternatively, he's just supposed to be the icon that we're supposed to hate or love. Do you know what I mean? And he is the one that goes through the paces. He makes this discovery. He gets stressed out about it. Nobody's listening to him. He then becomes a face for the solution. And then he realizes that he's kind of been brought into this evil organization, so to speak. Although one of the best lines in the movie is said by Jennifer Lawrence when she says, no, the government is not plotting anything evil. You're giving them far too much credit. They're way too stupid for that. But it's kind of true, and that goes into like Meryl Streep's performance and Jonah Hill's performance. Meryl Streep plays the president, and she just can't be bothered with this nonsense. And it's all heightened, it's all exaggerated stuff to make people sort of take notice. Big old exclamation point on our doom if we don't wake up and pay attention. Kind of why I don't just think it's about climate change. Anyway, to go back to the scene where Leo's losing his mind on the talk show, that was phenomenal. Him screaming at the top of the lungs. I'm sure plenty of us have had that exact moment many times over the last couple of years. Don't you lie to me. This one's going down real quick talking about this movie. I don't really know how to wrap this all up. I think it was a really, really good movie. Adam McKay, as a director, he came from a completely comedic background. As far as I know, from what I remember, my exposure to him was stuff like Anchorman and Step Brothers. One out of two ain't bad. And then he did other stuff, kind of like, I think it was called The Big Short, about was it the stock market crash or the real estate market? One of those two things not too long ago. You see, and then then he did Vice, where Christian Bale got all fat and played Dick Cheney. Those movies were great. Like, their quality is there, and they have actors in them that are spectacular. And my light just went out. Hang on. Come join my Patreon. I need to buy a new light. What was I saying? Vice and The Big Short. Quality movies. Great actors in them. That's where the light went out. I was talking about the actors that were in those movies. But they just weren't up my alley. They didn't appeal to me. I didn't have a lot of interest in whether it was the stock market crashing or the real estate crisis. And Cheney, which is essentially a biopic. Christian Bale did a great job. I know nothing about the man. I'm Canadian. And I do not follow politics. I live in a van. Do you really think that stuff matters to me? So when it came to Don't Look Up, a movie about an asteroid about to collide with the Earth. Oh, great. It's like Armageddon without Steve Buscemi humping a missile. The movie's got quality through and through. Great direction, great writing. I think McKay wrote it as well. And great performances from it. Like Leonardo DiCaprio especially. Will he get nominated? I don't know. It's a great performance. It's not as good as The Revenant. I know that's like divisive. Not everybody thinks he deserves to win for that. I thought it was pretty good. But his performance is superb. And the movie's got layers to it. Whether or not you just look at it as an allegory for one thing, it doesn't just rest on that. It does go above and beyond. It makes comments on how we rely so much on big tech companies. I can't remember the actor's name, but you've got someone who's basically playing like a Bill Gates cartoon in this movie. And it's his company that sort of comes to the rescue with the big plan to deal with the asteroid. But then what happens is they see a way to make money off the asteroid. And anyways, it's basically a cell phone company. It's very representative of the way we live our lives. One of the big reasons I live in a van. And so that's cool. And then also there's this like subtle side story with Jennifer Lawrence where she just gets so obsessed with this 5-star general who charges her for free snacks. And the way it carries through, it's I get that. Makes sense. Have you seen the movie the book's called Skipping Christmas. The movie's called Christmas with the Cranks with Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis. That movie is another good example of what I mean by me looking at a movie and reading between the lines, even if I wasn't meant to read between the lines. In that movie, Tim Allen and his wife decide to skip Christmas, go to the Bahamas. They're going to give it all up, and that's it. No Christmas this year. Of course, they end up having Christmas, and the movie is trying to drive home the fact that you need to have Christmas. It needs to be great, but it's heightened, and everybody in that movie is a cartoon. There's a scene where Dan Aykroyd leads this riot of kids to the house and demands they give them Frosty. I'm getting off track. The point is, the movie wants you to be like, no, you need to enjoy Christmas, enjoy the holidays, and you need to be surrounded by friends and family. When I watch that movie, I completely side with Tim Allen. He is over the commercialization of Christmas. He hates the amount of stress that comes with the holidays, and he just wants to get out of there and enjoy himself. He gets defeated. As far as I'm concerned, he is defeated in that movie. Christmas levels him. And I didn't like that because I took that movie to be saying, Tim Allen's the good guy, and we need to maybe take a step back and look at how we value Christmas. This has gone wildly off the rails. I look at Don't Look Up the exact same way as that movie, and that makes it really enjoyable for me, because not only do I have a quality movie on pretty much all fronts, and it's bananas, but I can get out of it whatever I want to get out of it. And I think it's a movie that is open to discussion for sure. I'm going to give Don't Look Up a 9 out of 10. I'm really solid on that, eh? It was a really good movie. I did enjoy it, and had I watched it before I did my top 10 movies of the year, I might have put it at like number 3 and bumped The Guilty. Like The Guilty was good, but this was better, especially for a Netflix original, in my opinion. And I know it's going to be divisive. I haven't looked at other reviews online, but enough of you, like I said, the 3 of you, that asked me to do a review on this movie. It made me scratch my head and go, what am I getting myself into? But at the end of the day, it's an enjoyable movie. I think it's worth a watch. People are going to have opinions. People are going to talk about this movie. I'm sure of it. It's got enough clout in Hollywood and enough clout with the general public that it's going to start a discussion, if it hasn't already. Like I said, I'm not really online looking up what people are saying about Don't Look Up. Allegory. But anyways, we've got a fairly big community here that seem to like my movie reviews. So let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the movie, if you've seen it, and where you sort of fall in that whole spectrum. I'll see you all in the next one. Allegory. But Leonardo DiCaprio's character, this is him stepping